Charles in Opelika, Florida. Hey, Charles, what's on your mind?
Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes. Wonderful, yes.
Good.
I just wanted to call in and just ask, how much disrespect do we have to take? I mean, we actually voted this president in, and whatever choice he makes is going to be something that we support, the American people.
Yeah.
He has every right under the Constitution to nominate a justice. And, I'm sick of these Republicans acting as if we are the worst things in the world, that we don't know how to govern ourselves or this whole country.
Yeah, no, and beyond that, Charles, in the Constitution, it says the president shall nominate and the Senate shall provide advice or consent. It doesn't say might, it doesn't say maybe, it doesn't say shall except for election years, and it doesn't say shall except for shall only during the first 3/5 of the term of a black president. It doesn't say any of that. It simply says shall. So here we are.
Well, I mean, it goes to a much bigger problem, which is I feel like they're so arrogant. I mean, to pull out George Bush out of the cobwebs, where he was.
Oh, that's not arrogance. That's desperation, Charles.
It's got a lot of arrogance in it. With the desperation, because they don't care about what people think. It doesn't matter about the facts.
Yeah.
It's only about their facts or what they want to make up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that
running us into the ground.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, Charles, when Orrin Hatch went on NPR this morning and said there has never been a term-limited president who nominated a candidate during his last year in office, somebody did a lot of research over on the Republican side to insert that term-limited word so that it could ignore all those presidents that I named in that list and that are in the New York Times, today. Somebody went to a lot of work. This is not some, accidental goof. This isn't a bunch of senators simply offering their opinions. This is an entire party moving in lockstep to block the president. Charles, thank you for the call. If you go back, on this program, I think our program has probably done more than I've never seen this in the corporate media, to talk about the caucus room conspiracy. Oh, and now I remember why I wanted Jane Mayer's book. Where did I put it? Here it is. In the caucus room conspiracy, you will recall a bunch of members of Congress got together, and the night that the president was being sworn in, and basically swore a blood oath to each other that they would obstruct everything he did. Now, that was the night of the inauguration. In Jane Mayer's book, Dark Money, she talks about, and you can see her talking with me about this. You could hear it, and I interviewed her on this radio show. We did a half hour on the TV show. In her book, she talks about how there was then a couple of months later. Now, Jim DeMint was at that meeting at the caucus room. He was then a senator. He's now the head of the Heritage Foundation. There was a couple of months after the caucus room, or maybe a few weeks after, Jane Mayer documents in her book, Dark Money, which is a brilliant book. She documents how the Koch brothers held a meeting at their mansion in, I believe it was in Florida, might have been in California. And in front of a couple of hundred billionaire and multimillionaire donors, they had two senators, Jim DeMint and John Cornyn of Texas. They had two senators debate how the Republican Party should react to the election of Barack Obama. Now, I don't know if anybody said out loud how Republicans should react to the election of the first black president, or whether it was just how should we react to the election of a Democrat or Obama. But you and I both know that for many of the people in the room, it was the former. And Jim DeMint argued in this debate that was held in front of this room full of billionaires that the Republican Party should block Obama on everything. Block him on trying to institute Romney Care. This was a Republican idea. Block him on trying to institute cap and trade for carbon. This was George Herbert Walker Bush passed cap and trade for sulfur dioxide back when we had an acid rain problem. We solved the world's acid rain problem with a cap and trade system that George Herbert Walker Bush put into place. And Obama was talking about, let's do cap and trade for carbon. and stop climate change. This was a Republican idea. This was a so-called free market solution. So John Cornyn was arguing, the things that we actually have always supported, we should probably let pass even when President Obama is president. And Jim DeMint argued, it's Barack Hussein Obama. We shouldn't let him have anything, or words to that effect. And Jim DeMint won the day. And the billionaires and millionaires, the donor class of the Republican Party, probably most of the 126 people, individuals who have donated more than half of all the money spent in the last 2 election cycles, were probably in that room. And Jim DeMint won the debate. And for 7 years, the Republicans have blocked Obama on absolutely everything they can. So we shouldn't be surprised when they say Obama doesn't get to nominate a Supreme Court justice. My 3/5 thing is sort of half joke, but not really. Because I think this goes right back to that meeting at the Koch Brothers mansion or resort or wherever it was, where Jim DeMint and John Cornyn debated this. How is that not sedition? How is that not tearing down your own country for personal and corporate and partisan gain? And are Americans figuring this out? Does that account for Donald Trump's popularity? That Americans are figuring out that the Republican Party is all screwed up? To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.